Algebra 2. This lesson that we're going to do is called factoring. We're going to talk about how to factor into two binomials or two parentheses containing two terms. Let's just start off. I'm going to give you x squared plus 9x plus 20. And again, the directions here are factor. Okay? So we're going to factor this, and we're going to try to factor into two parentheses. So just like we did FOIL, where we did first, outer, inner, last, this first term stands for, that's the F, this is the L, and this is the combination of the outer and the inner. So basically we're doing the FOIL method just backwards. So these first two terms equal x squared. Well, the only two things that equal x squared is x times x. Okay? So we can put that up front. X times x equals x squared. Now, the second thing you want to look to always is our little symbol right here. That symbol right there. If that is ever a plus, if this last term is ever a plus, okay, that means in these two parentheses you're going to have the same symbol. Either going to have plus plus or minus minus. So the way you figure out what you're going to use is you look now to this first symbol, which is a plus. So you know these are both going to be plus. Okay, again, if this is ever plus, that means you can have the same symbols on the inside, either two pluses or two minuses. Now, what we have to think about is what two terms multiply to equal 20, but add up to 9. So if we were to list the factors of 20, we have 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. So in this case, we have to find a pair that multiply to equal 20 but add up to 9. This adds up to 21. This, if I were to add, equals 12. And if I were to add, equals 9. So these are the two numbers I want to plug inside, 4 and 5. Now, if you have the same exact symbol and these are just both x and x, then it doesn't matter which number goes where. So yes, again, 4 times 5 equals 20. 5x plus 4x equals 9x. Alright? So let's try another problem. Let me just do pretty much the same thing, just switch the symbol up a little bit. X squared minus 9x plus 20. So again, I notice here there's a big plus here. If there's ever a plus, again, same symbol, either plus plus or minus minus. Since I know it's going to be the same symbol, I look here, I see a minus, therefore I know it's going to be two negatives. Because again, negative times negative is a positive, but negative plus negative gives us a bigger negative. So we're still trying to figure out what factors add up to 9, just like in our last case, it's going to be 4 and 5. Because again, this gives us negative 5x, this gives us negative 4x, which when we combine gives us negative 9x. Okay? Well, let's do, there's 4 options here. Let's do the next one. We have x squared plus 2x minus 24. So now we have a minus right here. So if this is ever a minus right there, it means you're going to have opposite symbols inside the parentheses. Now if this is just x and just x, then it doesn't matter which one, where you put the plus or minus. It doesn't matter what number goes with those. So again, what terms multiply to equal 24, but in this case have a difference of 2? So we have 1 and 24, we have 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. These are all the factors of 24 that multiply to equal 24. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. We have to find the one that has a difference of 2. This has a difference of 23. This one has a difference of 10. This one has a difference of 5. And this one has a difference of 2. So those are the two numbers you want to use. But we have to figure out, where does the 4 go, where does the 6 go? Well, there's two possibilities, 4x minus 6x or negative 4x plus 6x. So we have to figure out which one is going to give us a positive 2. And in this case, it's going to be this one. Therefore, the 6 needs to be with the plus. The 4 needs to be with the minus. The shortcut that basically helps me out is when I have just x here, okay, when I have opposite symbols, the bigger number is going to go with whatever symbol's right here. So if that's a plus, 6 is bigger than 4, it goes with the plus. Okay? Let's do another problem. I'm just going to change one little symbol here. So if we have x squared minus 2x minus 24, again, don't think that these are both negative because you see two negatives. If there's ever a minus right here, again, it's going to be opposite symbols. So we're going to use the same factors because we want to find what factor has a difference of 2, which again is 4 and 6. It's just now this says a negative 2, therefore the 6 needs to be negative, 4 needs to be positive. The bigger number goes with what symbol is our first symbol. Okay? So this next problem is going to be a little bit more difficult. I'm going to give you 5n squared minus 42n plus 16. So we have some bigger numbers here now. Well, we have our parentheses. Okay. Now, again, since there's a plus, I know it's going to be same symbol. Either two pluses or two minuses. So I look here, I see a minus. So I know these are both minuses. Now this 5 here, this 5n squared is our first terms being multiplied. Well, fortunately, since it's a prime number, our only options are 5 times 1. So 5n times 1n. Okay? Now, here's the hard part. We have 1 and 16. To make our last term needs to multiply to equal 16, 2 and 8, or 4 and 4. But we have this 5 and 1 here, so this kind of makes things a little more difficult. So our outer and our inner term has to add up to 42. So we're going to just do some trial and error here. Let's start with 1 and 16. If I put a 1 here and a 16 here, if I do the outer, 5 times 16 is 80, and this is 1. This gives us 81. That's not what we want. So let's try a different pair. Let's try switching that around. Let's put a 16 here and a 1 there. Well, if we do that, then our outer is going to be 5, and our inner is going to be 16. That adds up to 21. So we know, but again, we need 42. So we know that 16 and 1 is no longer an option, because neither combination works. So we try the 2 and the 8. If I put the 2 here and the 8 here, I try the outer. Outer gives me 40. The inner gives me 2. This actually does add up to 42. So this is the pair that we want. Again, you're only going to get one pair that works. So therefore, this is the pair that works, because negative 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. Our outer is negative 40n. Inner is negative 2n, which combines to be negative 42n. That's what we want. So again, this is how we factor into two parentheses. Things get a little different when we have a number out in front, but these are all doable. Our next one, the directions are factor, so completely. Factor completely. So I'm going to give you a polynomial here. Y to the fourth plus 7y to the third plus 10y squared. Now, when you see the directions factor completely, that means it's most likely they're going to want you to factor something out first. See if they have anything in common to begin with. In this case, I see they all have a y squared. So I can factor out a y squared to begin with. If I divide everything by a y squared, I'm left with on the inside y squared plus 7y plus 10. Because again, what I did is I factored out the y squared from each term, divided it out, brought it out to the front, and rewrote the inside. So that's our first step, but now we have to see, can we now break this into two parentheses? So we have just y squared, so we can put y and y. We always look to our last symbol, which is a plus, which means same symbols in the parentheses. So I see a plus here also, so I know they're both going to be pluses. Okay? So now I need to figure out what factors of 10, 1 and 10, 2 and 5, which ones add up to 7. So we see here the 2 and the 5. So we put the 2 and the 5 there, and we have now factored completely. So that is how we do those problems there. So good luck with that. Factoring can be very difficult, but it's actually one of the most important lessons that you need to learn in order to continue on with higher level math. You're going to use this throughout all the math that you're going to do, or all the classes that you're going to do in the future with math. So good luck with this. Try as hard as you can, and always, if you need more help, ask questions. Good luck.